It's just like frowns the whole time he's talking.
Well, Patty doesn't smile much. And the one good thing that Patty Murray has in her record is the Ryan Murray plan for our budget that we've stayed on for the discretionary budget since 2011. Somehow, Paul Ryan snookered her or whatever, but got her to agree to that 2011 budget plan and that it would continue, and we've kept it in place since then. But Patty doesn't smile out that much, and I have seen her because she's part of the Democrat Senate leadership team, so she would be standing up there. If that isn't her, then it's probably a staffer. But I was
just wondering. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. All right. Well, that leads me to the next one, Tim. So, wall funding. I don't want to wait. I want my wall now. I want my wall because not that I'm worried about the Democrats taking control, because I think that red wave is going to be there. The blue wave is a dribble at best. But I don't want to wait. I want my wall, and I think the base and the 63 million Americans who voted for Trump all want their wall. That's what we were promised. It's the one campaign promise that has yet to be delivered. And it really goes back to the House and the Senate to get this done. Can we get our wall?
And what about shutting the government to do it, as Trump is talking about?
I don't think anybody wants to shut the government down. We want to keep it moving the way it is moving and getting a lot of good things accomplished. Remember, let's not forget about the good things that the national media doesn't talk about that have been accomplished, and the reason why there's so much optimism in this country, because we did get things down, and Chuck Schumer shut it down. Didn't help him very well. So even he, I don't think, wants to shut it down right now. And the president, I think, in the end, has come back and said, let's get what's necessary done, and I'm there to help. As you may remember, last month I voted on two specific bills, immigration bills, both of which had wall funding in it, one total funding. I voted in favor of both of those bills. The president has come out now and said, we're going to continue pushing for those, and we want to get those done before, if at all possible, the midterms. But he's also indicated gratefulness for the $1.6 billion that we put in that funds one full year of wall funding. So he can spend the rest of this year building the wall that he can accomplish in 1 year because we've given that funding. But I think before he ends that year, we will have the rest of the funding in place.
Hey, can you shut the government down these days if we're doing budgets instead of CRs and you're doing appropriations? Is it possible to shut the government down?
Oh, it is. It is possible to shut it down to a degree, and that's where it causes the problems, because you end up not funding things that make the most importance to the general public, including military families, and that's the challenge that goes on with that. The rest of it doesn't get shut down because it's mandatory. Social Security remains funded, of course. Medicaid, Medicare remains funded. Your Obamacare provisions that are still in place because they are law, signed by a president, and they can't be rescinded unless another president signs a bill that rescinds them. Those are automatically funded. They're mandatory. But when you get down to the discretionary areas, including most of the military funding, that's where the problem comes, and the post office and things that make difference to the general public. And that's why Chuck Schumer thought he could push us to a wall, and we ultimately said no, and the president said no, and finally Schumer sheepishly gave in and let the vote be taken to bring the government up again.
Okay,
but we can do far better than that, and the House has passed 6 of the 12 appropriations bills now. Last year we passed all 12, and they died in the Senate. This year we hope to pass all 12 again before the end of the budget year. And if we keep moving forward, we show the American people that we aren't dysfunctional, and if someone wants to be dysfunctional, it'll probably be the Democrats in the Senate. The House can't stop us if we hold together, and that's why we have passed so many good things. But the Senate, Democrats could be dysfunctional and stop the movement forward. And hopefully the American people will see that it's not this president that's dysfunctional. He's ready to move forward on everything. I mean, the guy's hopping up and down, ready to sign bills. He signed a career and technical education bill last week on Tuesday that I was a co-sponsor of. I had several of my proposals and bills in that, and he was excited to sign it on Tuesday and say we are moving the country forward with job training opportunities to put people to work in the real world jobs that are going lacking for people because we've forgotten that we should train people for those professional trades and not just send people to a 4-year institution to ultimately get out with a high student loan debt and probably end up living in their parents' basement and working as a barista. So those things are moving forward, and that's why I don't think the president or the Republicans want to shut government down. We want to make it work for the people.
Okay. So let me ask you one other thing, because I wanted to ask this right at the beginning. We didn't get a chance to. Speaker Ryan, is he still going to stay until January? If not, do we have any movement on a new speaker or replacement for him coming forward?
No, he'll be staying. He'll be staying. It would be at this point in time. We don't need any more politics and upheaval. And I've been through 5, 6 now with Boehner resigning midterm. I've been through 6 speakers elections and leadership elections. They're not fun. They become emotional, and you're voting for or against friends of yours, colleagues of yours. We don't need that now. We've got a lot of work to do and build upon the successes. But we do have several people that have indicated an interest in going for speaker, including Kevin McCarthy, including Jim Jordan, and a couple others that probably have far less of opportunity. Steve Scalise is also open to it if indeed Kevin McCarthy doesn't run, or so for some reason Kevin McCarthy backs out. And Steve was a wonderful guy as well, would have a lot of support, especially since he's shown such great character after being shot by that crazy Bernie Sanders guy.
Yeah. So, Tim, Joe from Ann Arbor had one last question for you, and I think I know the answer because I heard you on Gruber the other day. Joe's asking why you're endorsing Bill Schuette over our other governor candidates here in Michigan.
Yeah, there's only one major reason that I would endorse him over the others. I heard Gary, the last person, talk about Pat Goldbeck. He's a friend of mine. He's a great conservative. And then you look at Lieutenant Governor Kelly. He's a conservative. He's been faithful in helping, I think, a very positive outcome of this administration. We may not support everything that the governor did, but doggone it, look at the state compared to Granholm. Yeah. And then look at a fine gentleman, Dr. Hines, all good people. But I go from an aspect that it's not only important that a person be a great campaigner, a tough campaigner, but I've lost 2 elections, and I found out I learned more about running campaigns to win by losing those elections. Schuette has lost an election, and because of that, he's never lost one after that.
Okay.
And I think we need someone who knows what it takes to win in a tough race.
Right.
And it's going to be a tough race.
Okay. All right, Tim. Well, thanks. Hopefully we'll talk to you again next month. And if you have something else later this month, please call in and let us know, would you?
I will do, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it as always. Bye-bye. Okay, and until next week, folks, go to thedailydrift.com.
It's the news you need to know.
And go to currentonline.com. Please advertise with The Current. Get hold of Ed. Yep. All right. See you then. Take care.